You ever have that feeling? You've got this long list of things you want to do. You want to learn an instrument, read more, meditate, get in shape. But at the end of the day, you're just too drained. It's a super common feeling. But what if the answer wasn't about trying harder, but about thinking smaller?
Okay, so let's get right into it. We've all been here. You set these huge, awesome goals for yourself. You're fired up, you're motivated, but then when it's actually time to do the thing, you just don't. You get stuck, and you end up doing nothing at all. So, what is going on here?
Well, it usually starts with something I like to call the all-or-nothing trap. And to really get it, let me walk you through a personal story about how some really good intentions went completely off the rails. So picture it. I decided I was going to build a meditation habit. And the goal was firm. 20 minutes every single day. No ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, it sounds great, right? Super disciplined, it feels like you're really making a change. But then, well, reality hits. Life gets in the way. An appointment pops up. And all of a sudden, that perfect 20-minute window, it's gone. And because my goal was so rigid, the only choice was do the full 20 minutes or do nothing. And, nothing is always the easier option. So, zero meditation for the day. And this is where it gets really nasty. You miss one day and the guilt kicks in. So what do? You try to make up for it. The next day's goal becomes 40 minutes. But come on, if 20 minutes was already too much, 40 minutes feels like climbing a mountain. So you fail again. You feel even worse. And before you know it, the whole habit is just gone.
So here's the key takeaway. This isn't a failure of willpower. It's not because you're lazy. It is a failure of strategy. The problem isn't you, it's that our own big, shiny expectations are actually the very things that are setting us up to fail.
Just think about it with exercise, because it's a perfect example. You plan on a solid 1-hour workout, but life does its thing and you only have 40 minutes free. In your head, that 1-hour goal is everything. Anything less feels like a failure. So what happens? Instead of getting a perfectly awesome 40-minute workout in, you get 0 minutes. And you're left feeling frustrated. Your own ambition literally stopped you from making any progress. Okay, so if setting big goals is the problem, what in the world is the solution? Well, it's something incredibly simple and honestly a little counterintuitive. It's time to talk about the mini habit. A mini habit is exactly what it sounds like. You take that big goal you have and you shrink it down, way, way down. You make it so ridiculously easy, so tiny, that it becomes basically impossible to say no to. It's literally too small to fail. Let's go back to that meditation goal, that 20-minute beast that kept failing. The mini habit version is just 2 minutes. Seriously, think about that. No matter how busy you are, how tired you are, how unmotivated you feel, can you find 2 minutes? Yeah, you can. All of a sudden, every single excuse just evaporates. And remember that whole list I mentioned at the beginning? Practicing piano, reading books, meditating, exercising every day? Well, here's the secret sauce. They're all mini habits. Just 3 minutes of piano, reading one single page, that 2-minute meditation, and a few push-ups. Each one is so tiny, you can actually do all of them every single day without breaking a sweat. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but what good is reading one page? That's a totally fair question. The magic isn't actually in the tiny action itself. It's in the momentum that tiny action creates. Let's look at the psychology here, because it's pretty cool. I know. This isn't a physics class, but Newton's first law applies perfectly to people. A person sitting on the couch tends to stay on the couch. But a person who has already started moving, even just a little bit, finds it so much easier to keep moving. Honestly, the hardest part of anything is just getting off the couch. And that's what creates this awesome chain reaction. A mini habit is designed to make that first step, the starting part, as easy as humanly possible. Once you've done that one push-up or read that one page, you've broken through that initial resistance. You've got momentum. And what you'll find is, very often, you just keep going. And here's the proof in the pudding. That simple 2-minute meditation goal, it would frequently and totally naturally turn into a 10 or even 20-minute session. The goal to read just one page, that often became a half hour of being totally lost in a book. The mini habit is just the key that starts the engine. Once it's running, you can drive as far as you want. And this all leads us to the final and maybe the most important point of all. When it comes to building habits that actually stick for life, consistency will always beat intensity. Just look at the two paths side by side. A typical habit starts with these sky-high expectations. That leads to spotty consistency, and pretty soon you stall out and you give up.
But the mini habit? It starts with ridiculously low expectations, which means you can be consistent every single day. You never miss. And that builds this incredible momentum over time until the habit just becomes a permanent part of who you are.
All right, so how do you use this right now? Think of a goal you keep putting off. Now, let's shrink it. You want to exercise? Your goal is 1 push-up. You want to study? 1 minute. You want to write that novel? Your goal is just 50 words. Make the starting line so easy to cross that you can't help but take that first step.
So I'll leave you with this question. Just for a second, forget about those huge, intimidating goals. Instead, what's the smallest possible step you could take? What is one goal you can make too small to fail, starting right now, today?